John Cena wrestling at WrestleMania 39. We'll talk about it. Plus, an AEW star signs on for a major motion picture. And an NXT star has turned heel. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Do. You think that John Cena has it in him to have one more match?
Oh, my word, yes.
One more match?
Yes, of course.
Yes, well, good job, because he might be. That's the story today. WrestleVotes having a chat with Give Me Sport, and they say, they give us a John Cena WrestleMania update saying, I know he touches base every so often with WWE, and although Vince is out of the picture, Cena still has a love for this place. John Cena and Triple H have a respect for each other. Cena should be there, and Cena should be wrestling. They added, if Cena is legitimately trying, that's a big word for me face this morning, legitimately trying to be the next Rock, you should perform at WrestleMania in Hollywood. And I think he'll be there, and I think he'll be wrestling.
Now, I think that initially that sounds just like a person's opinion. However, WrestleVotes has a track record of being of having some sort of insider knowledge. So the fact that WrestleVotes has said, I think that last sentence is crucial. I think he'll be there, and I think it'll be wrestling. That's pretty crucial because we haven't heard. We've all the speculation's been about whether The Rock will turn up at WrestleMania in Hollywood. But it's a fair point. If Cena wants to be the next mega movie star man, then it's Hollywood.
You do it in
Hollywood. Then you should go back to your old job, but because it's taking place in your new job's location.
I get it. It's just like, look at this, America and Hollywood and the world. Watch me on the global stage.
Now, I don't know what WrestleVotes has heard, obviously, to indicate that Cena could or could not be wrestling, but I would disagree. I don't think Cena does need to wrestle again. I just think he should if he wants to. Because I think he's already a pretty big star, is he not? Everyone seems to enjoy John Cena. He was in Peacemaker.
Yeah, he's great in that.
Yeah, he's a funny man.
He was in the Fred movie.
He was in the Fred movie. Maybe he does need to wrestle at WrestleMania.
He's been in lots of other films as well, obviously. It's always nice when he pops up in random movies, doing little cameos and stuff. But I'd like to see him there. It'd be an extra bit of goodness to WrestleMania if we get a Rock and John Cena match that weekend.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, the conversation would then turn to give the guys who are there every day of the week roles at WrestleMania.
That's true.
And hopefully there will be some for those as well. But
there
I
are
imagine
2 nights. There is room. There's more room these days, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. There is room. And in terms of those guys who are there every day, maybe one of said guys could face John Cena. We never quite finished pulling the thread on the Austin Theory thing, did we?
That is very true. You
know, and he's had a rough week this week. Maybe to cheer him up, maybe a match with John Cena at WrestleMania could be penciled in.
Yes,
that'd be a lovely time. Let's talk about the Billy Corgan, Nick Aldis, NWA situation.
You might have to carry the load on this one, Tom, because what a tangled web. I don't really understand what's going on.
Right. So Nick Aldis, in a now deleted Instagram video, announced that he was suspended and he was away from NWA in January. So he'd been suspended and he wasn't invited to NWA Hard Times, which is coming up this weekend.
And I think it's fair to say, for context, that Nick Aldis has been very much the face of the modern NWA, I suppose.
Really has done, yeah, very much so. When the company was getting back up and running, it was Nick Aldis that was front and center as the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. So he's been a big part of it. And there's been a few things said online and in interviews which have given the impression Nick Aldis isn't massively happy with the current progress and the current state of the National Wrestling Alliance. This led to a suspension for Nick Aldis from Billy Corgan, and as I say, a deleted video from Instagram where he announces, like, in January, my contract's up and I'm away, and really generally just unhappy about the company. He lit up Twitter a little bit last night and the night before as well, where he was speaking quite openly about storylines that he's not happy about.
Okay.
He gave our story about Billy Corgan and the Empower pay-per-view retweet, which is a bit random. And there's been a few other comments thrown back and forth. So Billy Corgan was on Busted Open Radio, which Nick Aldis signposted, by the way, which is why we should maybe, because as we've seen a lot with wrestling, we should probably take this with a pinch of salt.
Okay.
Nick Aldis signposted the fact that Billy Corgan was going to be on Busted Open Radio, and Billy Corgan said the following about Nick Aldis and his suspension and his comments about the NWA, saying, ask yourself why in a pay-per-view week, when with a talent who is leaving the company, does he decide to start blasting me and the product 55 days before he's out and he can do whatever he wants to do? Why does he have to bury the locker room and bury the product? Corgan reiterated that Aldis was the highest paid member of the NWA locker room for the last 5 years, and their business relationship proved to be a good bet. Aldis having his voice heard throughout his time there on both how the NWA was run and how he was booked was beneficial. Aldis ended up being taken off the card for this weekend's New Orleans due to some of his recent conduct, and Billy Corgan addressed that, saying, how do I, as the leader of this company, allow a key talent, the most highly visible talent in the company, up until he opens his mouth and tells people that he's leaving, blast the company? I have a guy like that show up because why do I have a guy like that show up? Because what message does that send to the locker room? There are a lot of people in the locker room not happy about this. He's working something. I don't know what he's working, but he's willing to sacrifice me and the NWA to prove something or get something going or get out early to go do something. This is not cool.
Oh no, I mean, I know you say correctly that we live in an era where you have to take everything with a pinch of salt in wrestling, especially now that social media is used to promote storylines. But this sounds too destructive to the promotion. Why would they say this about each other? It doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't seem to benefit anybody to be throwing these barbs if it is a storyline, you know. And I think there might be something to the idea of Nick Aldis having his eyes elsewhere.
Maybe. I mean, this is certainly one we're going to keep an eye on. Well, I guess we'll have an idea of how the land lies this weekend. NWA presenting hard times in New Orleans, and with no Nick Aldis involved, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Which AEW star is doing the big movies, Jack?
It's MJF, which is huge because MJF as well, I think, often has been seen as a star in wrestling these days with at least some degree of mainstream potential because of just how charismatic he is. He is going to be in the highly touted, at least in wrestling circles, upcoming wrestling movie, The Iron Claw, from Cannes and Sundance Prize-winning filmmaker Sean Durkin. And he's going to be playing the role of, it doesn't say here. We learned who he was going to be playing the role of, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
Upstairs, we were talking about it, the fake Von Erich.
Oh, I think we speculated that it might be.
I thought we knew that. This was just us chatting.
I think we speculated on that. I wasn't really paying full attention to the conversation.
It was me and Fraser, so yeah. Well, he is going to be a part of the Von Erich movie anyway, MJF. Sorry about that, we don't yet know.
It'd be great if he was Lance Von Erich.
Lance Von Erich,
that'd be a great time. He's in it's quite an all-star cast. We've seen the picture already of Zac Efron. Doing a dropkick.
Von Erich up, doing a dropkick now,
Oh,
flying
he looks
through the air
great.
with the greatest of ease.
Yeah.
Well, he is a basketballer.
Yeah, that's true. And we're all in this together.
Yeah, we are.
Do we get a musical number during the?
Imagine.
During the film?
No, I hope not. Tonally, I don't think that would work. But no, it's a stacked cast as well. Jeremy Allen White, Zac Efron, Harris Dixon, Holt McCallany, Maura Tierney, and Lily James, and Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Good for him.
Last night was NXT. We got another Dijakovic vignette featuring fire and the burning mask and all that stuff. I wiped the slate clean for a fresh start and left the past where it should be, says Dijakovic / Donovan Dijak / T-Bar / Justice Anthony. Going on to say that he's going to bring NXT to justice, his own form of justice. We see a bit more of his face in these vignettes.
Was it definitely look like him?
Definitely a little bit more of him. We got some stuff from Citizen Scripts last night too.
Scripts' words appeared on the Tron and on the video wall in the NXT arena, so he's getting closer. It said, "My name is written on the walls, my voice sounds through the halls, and soon I'll be in NXT to watch the whole thing fall. Pain is truly among me. Imagine what will happen has happened, as it was always meant to be. Que sera, sera. Sincerely, Scripts."
Script who is going to Wembley, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel. Like we've got these two every week now are getting promo time. So
It's similar.
Very similar,
Right.
like two very different characters who are going, I'm going to destroy NXT.
Coming to destroy. Yeah.
You know, it'd be like bringing along Ultron and Thanos at the same time.
It's weird. It is. It's a
Like-
strange decision.
Yeah, like you'd spread them out a little bit.
I think this might be because of how popular the Wyatt stuff has been.
And they're
more
just
of that.
throwing it out there.
Sean's gone, I'll have a bit of that.
We had some more conventional wrestling storytelling in our main event. We have a heel turn on NXT. Who's been a baddie now, Jack?
Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark, one half of the tag team with Nikita Lyons, turned on her tag team partner after they failed to win the tag team titles. It has been foreshadowed, though. It's not one that's totally out of the blue. Zoe's been getting frustrated.
I'd say it's 5 shadowed.
Well, yeah, Zoe's been getting frustrated recently. Nikita's been going like, well, what are you doing? And now Zoe has turned heel, yes.
That's another friendship, another great friendship in NXT that has lasted less time than a yogurt in my fridge.
Maybe this one was slightly longer than Cora, Jaden. Oh, I don't know.
They were kind of randomly put together for the SmackDown for an episode of SmackDown, which they didn't end up wrestling on.
So they were. I remember their first vignette, which explained why they became a tag team, and it was Nikita Lyons going, "I'm Nikita Lyons. I love to sing and dance," and Zoe Stark went, "I don't like to sing and dance, but I do like to kick ass in the wrestling ring," and that's how they were put together.
That's how all great friendships are formed. Yeah. I like singing and dancing. I don't. Do you want to be mates? Yes, I do. Yeah. I like Zoe Stark as a heel. Mm-hmm. I think there's lots of potential in her as just like this monster wrestling machine.
Yeah.
I want her to beat Nikki Lyons quite dramatically.
Yeah.
Because as a smaller wrestler taking on a bigger wrestler, it's quite a statement to send.
Yeah.
To have Zoe Stark beat Nikki Lyons and then just push her way through the women's division.
And even though Nikita Lyons is the bigger of the two, I think that Zoe Stark might be seen as like the more brutal in ring of the two. Yes. So I think it's who turned more to be the one who's turned heel, yeah.
Excited to see where we go with that one. And we'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Are you twitching tonight?
I am twitching tonight with Owen Mawson, twitch.tv/cultaholic at 6 p.m. UK time.
Have a lovely time. Stay safe and love you. Bye.